Hello, listener, and welcome to the Lonely Goalpost Podcast, where real football talk and real football memories come together. I'm Simon Higgins, and alongside Dan and Griff, we're talking England, Scotland, Cruyff turns, and of course, our latest predictions. So, lace up your boots, take a touch, and let's Cruyff turn our way into another episode of the Lonely Goalpost. Remember, pass the pod. Hey there, listener. Here we go again. Another episode of the Lonely Goalpost World Cup edition. And I am here with my strike partnership, York and Cole. Daniel, how are you? You're going first again.
Yeah, good side. Very good. Thanks very much.
Looking good.
Yeah, top goal scorer.
Top goal scored. And Sean, we've got to save the best to last because you are live from the butchers, and look at you. You look fabulous.
Thank you. York and Cole is very apt. A great partnership, that double act.
One of the very best. One of the very best. And listener, just if you are listening to this, Sean is wrapped around in a Union Jack. There's not a Union Jack, St George's flag, I should say. Bad mistake there. St George's flag, looking the part and living the dream. So there you go. It's funny, actually, you talk about the Union Jack, because I was listening to a podcast and David Baddiel was talking about up until like the 80s, England's were like represented by the Union Jack. And it's only sort of been like recent years, when I say recent years, probably like the last 20, 30 years, where the St George's flags become more prominent. I think that was on the World Cup 98 shirt. There was a little, 98, there was a little cross, I seem to remember, but from France. But anyway, so there you go. That's my mistake there. But here we are.
66 was all Union Jack, wasn't it? That's what the pictures are, all Union Jack when you celebrate in that.
World Cup Willie. He's red, white and blue. He's World Cup Willie. Right. Anyway, we don't need to listen to karaoke with Simon Higgins. We're here to talk football. And we are talking England because they have had such a great result against Croatia earlier on this week on Tuesday. And there's so much to sort of pick out of that. And there's always the worry when England concede a goal in a tournament, but I think we've got to celebrate the fact that we've actually scored 4 goals against a major nation. And Dan, where do you go with that?
I think, do you know what? I'd start by questioning major nation, if I'm honest. I think solid European nation, but maybe not the Croatia of old. And they qualified well, but it was a relatively easy qualifying group for them as well, I think. First half, I was concerned. I thought the 2 goals were sloppy, even though the first goal was, the finish is great, but like zero press, zero intensity. It felt like it was just easy for them to kind of cut through us as they needed to. And then the second goal, he's run across a line of defenders and not been picked up. So slight concerns there. And I just felt generally we lacked a bit of intensity. I think the midfield, Jude Bellingham was non-existent first half. I thought Anderson didn't do a lot. Gordon didn't do a lot. For the whole game, to be perfectly honest. But then second half, I think Tuchel's definitely at this touch of a top really come out, said what he needed to say to the right players, and Bellingham was a different player, and he was everything that you were talking about before, to be fair. So, in terms of the power and the pace and pushing forward, and made a massive difference to us. I think Kane dropped a little bit deeper and he played that quarterback role, and it was nice. And I thought it was quite a nice little cameo from Saka and Rashford. I think obviously Saka's got to play his way back in, but looks quality every time he plays for England. And Rashford just looks like he adds a bit more than Gordon for me. But whether that means that he finishes the game or starts the game, I think that's probably a decent debate. So,
well, regarding Gordon, wasn't it? I sent the message, and I think it's the end of the 28 days for the return for Barcelona. I think they've got the receipt. I hope they kept the receipt.
Cooling off period.
It's the cooling off period. Talking about cooling off, Sean, have you cooled down from England's performance?
Yeah, it was definitely a game of 2 halves, wasn't it? The traditional, we're pretty poor, pretty lackadaisy first half. Like you say, just trying to overplay too much, really, from the back, even from the keeper, literally, like goal kicks, passing it within the 6-yard box. Why did they do that? It's So frustrating to watch, and 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work. And
it was really noticeable, wasn't it? Really noticeable, wasn't it?
Yeah. And half of the time, well, pretty much their only sort of notable opportunities came through our own doing, our own mistakes, or, you know, misplaced pass, or, you know, not reading stuff. It was just, I've never been a fan of that playing from the back to that extent. And sometimes, you know, certainly the second half, a lot more direct, a bit of urgency, a bit of aggression. You know, obviously Bellingham especially, you know, that goal was just everything you want to see from a midfielder running through, you know, and doing that. Harry Kane, personally, I don't like the fact that he drops deep. I think there's players who can do that. I don't think he needs to do that. But look, who am I? Ultimately, he got 2 goals and, you know, we won the game. But it was a great game. It was a great game. Their keeper, to be fair, had an absolute worldie. Like we mentioned the other day on the voice notes, that save where he's dropped down low and caught with his hand.
Save.
I mean,
absolutely
unbelievable
wonderful
save. And he had a few of them, to be honest. So, you know, when you look back at the game with a bit of a clearer head, they literally only had about 2 or 3 chances, and we had, you know, a good 5, 6 good opportunities, some headers cleared off the line, one that was missed. Should have scored, perhaps. So, yeah, good game, really good game. Feel positive, a lot more positive than I did prior to the match. You know, and even obviously in amongst the group we were chatting, and yeah, even after the first half, I was a little bit like, oh, don't know what we're going to see here, second half. And, you know, and that, to be fair, how many times have you seen that from England coming out second half and actually having a bit of urgency? Not a lot of times. It was good to see.
Well, I think that's my big takeaway, really. It's because we've all, at the levels of football we've all played at, and I'm sure you have as well, listener, that you've had that half-time teacup rollicking. And I always remember Baker Sean walking in at Cobham, kicking something, and he goes, and my feet are wet as well. and he
goes, a shoulder of mutton.
It was
tipping it down. It was tipping it down, and we just didn't turn up. And I'm stood here in the tipping down rain, and I'm watching you idiots play football.
My feet are wet. And I always remember there's one time he goes, if you lot want to go out in Ashley Cross ever again, you better turn around this 2-goal deficit or something. Enough said. And there we go. And we went and won 3-2 in the cup. But,
exactly.
But regarding the team talk, I think when you look at Tuchel, he's got this. He's a major manager, isn't he? And the major managers need to deal with the major egos, the footballers, the sportsmen, whatever you want to call them these days. They're more than just a footballer, aren't they? They're a brand, and they need managing. And I just love the way he's gone in. He's given a team talk. He's clearly given them a few strong words, and they've come out and responded. And I think that's what you can ask for a team, about character. And the Bellingham goal, I know we mentioned it the other day, and you just highlighted it there, Dan. But I really do think this England team's all about power. I look at like Rashford's goal, power, get the ball, he's through. Jed Spence when he came on,
Spence had a good second half. I think Rashford, for me, has got to start. And what I liked actually about that as well was at the half time during the TV, during the interview process, the assistant coming out and actually taking an interview at half. I mean, we don't see that in a World Cup game. Like, you know, he's come out and he's done an interview. And he was so calm. And you can just imagine that's how it was with even Tuchel, very calm, but, you know, assertive with what he wants to say and where we need to be and what we need to do. And they listened. And that's obviously respect. They respect him. He's, like you say, he's won everything domestically. So they respect him and they want to win. And obviously that came through. Yeah. But it's quite interesting to see him come out.
And ultimately, the manager, obviously, he picked a team. Like Gordon, we sort of alluded to, it didn't quite work for him. But I still think with Gordon, it's his work rate that gets him through, and maybe that's where you're going to need someone to run around a bit, but work hard. But I would probably, I think Rashford deserves a start. I've heard today that he might have a little bit of a niggle, but let's hope that's just like hearsay in the media. But
I wouldn't let Gordon wear him out, if I'm honest. I think Rashford last 20 minutes of any game is going to be a handful for anybody.
But so Gordon, would you not start Rashford and then bring Gordon on to do that press and that chasing down? Yeah, he went from one side to the opposite, chasing a player down numerous times. So he's got legs. He's just, don't know.
In product though, right? So it depends on where I think we're going to come into a few games this World Cup, where we're going to need late goals. Would I want Gordon on to score that late goal, or would I want Rashford on to score that late goal? And I'm thinking Rashford. So if you're going to get someone to do the donkey work and tire him out, get Gordon in there. If you want someone to
and also there's that there's that saying, isn't there, that people mention, like, now you've got the finishers, haven't you? Like, you got these, like, many subs, 5 subs,
finishing picks,
finishing and come on. So Rashford could be, but it's a good position to be in. And also, I saw a reel by Alan Shearer, and he sort of highlighted the fact that you got Saka coming on as a sub, you got Rodgers coming on as a sub, you got Rashford coming on as a sub, and you're thinking, hang on a minute, there's a strong squad here.
We've never had a bench like that before.
No, and we're not talking about the players that haven't been picked. So
yeah.
So hopefully the next game, we should hopefully just build on that second half, and then hopefully cement ourselves into the next round. And I think it's just, as I say, it's about getting the results first. It's always nice to have a little bit of a cherry on the cake with a performance, but with 4 goals, as I said, Croatia, as you said, Dan, Croatia aren't at the force of old, but nonetheless, I still think that was one of the toughest games from the major nations had, and England saw them off. So bring it on, eh? 3 lines on a shirt. So sort of going from England, let's go to Scotland, because, well, what a start, hey, yesterday. That finish within, what was it, about 100 seconds, wasn't it, Dan?
Yeah. I mean, look, Morocco are a top team. I think they are a genuinely good team. But again, I think, they didn't. It's not as if they dominated that game fully. I thought, again, Scotland put themselves well against it. Probably should have had a pen. I think the McGinn challenge, I think that's anywhere else on the pitch is a free kick. Less so than McTominay one. I don't think they've got much there. I think that would have been soft. But the McGinn one, they could have easily come away with 1-1 there. To be fair, it's one of those still, I think, the Scottish, regardless, it still feels like it's a jolly rather than anything else, right? If they get out of the group, they're happy, but they're happy for the 3 games. The fans are the talking point. The Scottish fans are the talking point rather than the Scottish football team, which you had a feeling would probably be the case. There's some good players for Scotland, but their fans have been immense. So, and it's nice. Do you know what? It makes me a little bit embarrassed to be an England fan at times, because we can't just do that. Have a drink, have a laugh, have a right good time away, and come away with it feeling like the locals were happy to have us there. And that, I think, why can they do that? Why can't we do that? It's not a huge difference in that way, but
I think it's the expectation thing. Because there's a friend of mine that's been to every World Cup since 2002, and he has a great time, and he's part of the hardcore that go and have a good time. So the fans are there, and I think they do. It's just that it doesn't necessarily get portrayed that way. But then also, I would imagine it comes with pressure as well. That obviously, with great power comes great responsibility, and then when you've had a few drinks, you're not playing well. You're a fancied nation. I suppose it just brings out the bad in the people that want to look that way. Who knows? Sean, what about you? How do you think about Scotland?
Well,
in your
they've got to play Brazil,
George's flag.
They've got to play Brazil next. Obviously, let's be realistic. The game they won, they expected to win. The game they lost, they were expected to lose, and I think they'll lose to Brazil. And I've not really got a huge amount to say about them. They work hard, but they lack a bit of quality. I like the fans. To be fair, Dan, for what you've said there about the England fans, I've heard a lot of positive things about countries around the world praising England and Scotland for how welcoming and friendly they've been. So, we traditionally put up a good atmosphere, don't we? Especially the Tartan Army, they're renowned for it. And I don't know, I think there was a bit more expectation on Scotland than there has been in the past, for sure. But whether they're just part of the ride, a little bit like Republic of Ireland would be back in the day, or whether they're, got a bit more of a point to prove, I don't know. But yeah, let's be honest, Scotland are going to do what's expected. You expect Morocco to win, you expect Brazil to win, and Morocco to finish, Scotland to finish third in the group, don't you? So it's sort of panning out as it should.
I thought Grant Hanley was a bit naive trying to play the offside with the first goal. Because
he's shocking. He should not. How he's still playing international? At that level. Yeah.
Well, I just thought with VAR, with VAR now, and if you step up, you remember you can be like a toenail onside. So I just think I haven't really seen the defenders that step up for a while, and I just sort of thought stepping up when there might be like a shoulder that's onside or something, or your elbow or whatever, and then all of a sudden goals given, and I think it just dropped off. He may have. I
feel like you said, a bit naive, isn't it? He's experienced bloke, and he's been around, isn't he? But like you say, it's it's a big risk at any level to be trying to play the offside trap, but certainly when there's VAR involved. But in a way,
we've touched on Brazil the next game, and Dan, they got back to winning ways last night.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, they took the foot off the pedal second half, but first half they were. I think Cunha definitely adds something to them. Obviously, Vinicius Junior still looks quality. I thought Lucas Paqueta looks decent. Again, I think he's underrated midfielder is Paqueta, but I think he's had his concerns with England, doesn't he? So I think that's probably the last of him we'll see here. But he's. I thought they were decent, good value for it against a relatively poor team, to be perfectly honest. And I think 3-0 didn't flatter them, but again, I didn't watch anything from Brazil and think if we were to play them at any point in this tournament that we've got anything to be worried about, which is a strange thing to say about Brazil, really. But I think if you
they're like a European team now, aren't they? Really?
You keep Vinicius Junior at the game. They're like, do you know what? They're like a low rent Real Madrid. In that they feel like individuals, but they haven't got the same level of individual talent that Real Madrid have got. So decent. I think a World Cup is always richer for having a good Brazil team in it, and I'm not sure that's what.
And also, I like Brazil wearing blue, but that blue kit was a little bit dark for me. I thought it was just a little bit on the dark side. It's more like version on the navy blue rather than like the bright, flamboyant royal blue of the Copacabana looking good and living the beach. But yeah, Cunha could be someone that breaks through and one of those players that gets 5 or 6 goals this World Cup. He had a good season at Manchester United, and he's got that sort of. There's something about him that sort of Eric Cantona-esque sort of cockiness, arrogant. Long way to go to be Cantona, by the way, but he's got something about him, and I've got a feeling he might enjoy shining on the big stage. But we'll see.
His celebration's a bit of a shocker. I mean, not ideal. It feels a bit too long.
Everyone's got a celebration these days for the old computer games, haven't they?
Sharp shaking his ass in the corner. That's what we're after, right?
Nah, yeah. Hips don't lie, Sean.
Right.
It don't. I like Brazil, but I think how many world-class players do they actually have from, when you think about Brazil of the past, it's like, you could name 8 out of the 11 who were like absolute top draws. So to be fair, they're probably only playing in second or third gear, weren't they? Let's be honest. And secondly, they're probably a little bit, I feel, like a fine red wine, and they're going to mature through the tournament. Ooh. And before you know it, they'll be in the semi-final, and then at that point, it's anyone's game. And then the likes of Cunha or Vincent, Junior, they might get a goal and they win it 1-0. But is it about playing, sexy football, flamboyant football, or is it about winning? And ultimately, with a manager like Ancelotti, you want to win, don't you, regardless? So
and he knows how to do it. And
he knows how to do it. So.
It'd be interesting, the Scotland game, because you wouldn't be surprised if Brazil won 4-0, or equally, you wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw just by the form of the way they played, isn't it? So that'd be one to watch, won't it?
What was the result in '98? Because they had them in the group in '98, didn't they? Was it 2-1?
2-0. I think in '98, because I seem to remember John Collins scoring a penalty. I took the day off work that day to watch the first game of the World Cup. I thought, I'm watching it. I was sat in Sturt watching it. But nice. But there you go. Right. Anyone else? One team I want to sort of touch on, and it's something that might become more apparent as the tournament goes on, is Mexico, because they're looking like they're going to finish top of their group, and we hope England finish top, and then we know that is going to be a pathway. And I'm a little bit concerned about the altitude and the change of conditions in Mexico, and I really think that, not trying to get arrogant, getting ahead of myself, but I see that being a really, really tough game. I see them as the host nation staying in Mexico. I think they're going to be strong. It's going to be a tough game, and they're getting the results, aren't they, Dan?
Yeah, I think we spoke about it at the sort of the start of this. I think altitude and in Mexico and that level of team, they're not the best Mexican team, but in the same sense, they're playing in Mexico. They're still a solid team. I don't fancy that, if I'm honest. That does concern me, because I just think if it's hot and the altitude's high and they're they're off the back of winning their group and they get through there, so the last 32 game, I think they're going to be high on confidence too. Struggle with that a little bit, but let's worry about it when we get there, I guess. But it just
get ahead of ourselves, aren't we?
It's a banana skin.
I watched the game the other night. I didn't say anything to be worried about. I don't think we should be fair enough, quite honestly.
No, good.
Well, nothing I saw. I don't think they've got many sort of.
I'm worried about. You look very confident there. You look confident, so I'm with you.
It didn't feel to me. I watched the game. I just felt like it was. All right, they won, fair play and whatnot. But I just think if England do get them, then I just think the quality we have, the actual quality, regardless of this altitude and all that sort of stuff. The humidity. The quality's there. You can just turn. A player can turn someone on a sixpence and whack a ball into the top corner from 40 yards. We've got them players.
Yeah.
You don't need to be sprinting down the channel and doing 40-yard sprints, to win a game. It's more like the quality on the ball and how quick you can move. The brain as well. So for me, we've got enough of that to not be worried about them.
I'm liking your spirit tonight, Sean. You're
feeling it tonight. St George is pushing me on.
He's got the Saturday vibes, and he's up for it. He's just up for it. It's
putting the England bed sheets on when he gets home.
He's got.
I've got them ready.
He's got his Harry Kane pajamas, hasn't he?
That's it, man. I put my little eye mask on, and it's Harry Kane on one and Pickford on the other.
And he's got his little. I keep saying Union Jack tonight. Union Jack. He's got his St George's flag, Tommy Tippy, hasn't he? That he just drinks out of as well. So Sean's up for it. But another host nation, Russell Crowe's USA. They again not majorly worried about it, but you sort of they could sort of the momentum, the fans get once you get the America behind you, they're going to be formidable. And I was watching the match last night. Rooney was loving Pochettino's attire, how he looked like, and I was just thinking, he's turning into Russell Crowe, and Russell Crowe's been in some big blockbusters, and Danny's in a big blockbuster at the moment, isn't he?
He is, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I'm not sure whether it's a compliment or it's insulting if Wayne Rooney says you dress well. I don't know whether that's. I'm not sure how I take that.
Oh wow!
Yeah. But they're doing what they need to do. I think. I don't think they've had the biggest challenge of a group. But they're doing what they need to do. They're scoring goals. They looked all right without Pulisic, who's obviously the talisman. So yeah, I mean they work hard. They run their socks off. I think they'll lack the quality at the top end of it, and you shouldn't do it, but I always look at it the same way. How many of their first 11 get into our first 11 or even into our squad? And I think that kind of, not to take that as an arrogant approach to how we should be playing this, but I think realistically, when you base it in that sort of realism, I guess, unless they're playing like a team that are well oiled, which I'm not sure they are yet, then I feel like it's a bit like it's still a case of we should have more quality than they have. Should we run into them? But if they click and they start playing like a decent team, like who knows, right?
It's going to be entertaining, isn't it? And I think that's sort of us stuck back here in England, wishing we were over there. It's if you see sort of all the hosts doing well, it sparks imagination. But good chat about the World Cup so far and our home nations. And the next topic, we're just going to chuck a few World Cup legends out there. Now we've got loads, and really a lot of this is first come, first served in your mind. Who's the first player you thought of when I sent you that message today? So Dan, who's your first player you thought of regarding World Cup legends?
So I mean, it's 94 for me. So, and it's 3 really in 94, and I was I think lucky enough at that to get so Roberto Baggio, because I just adored Roberto Baggio, Stoichkov. And then Georgie Hadji. And Georgie Hadji, to be fair, Georgie Hadji didn't have a great World Cup, but he scored an absolute belter.
He was playing for Romania, wasn't he? So he was carrying a nation, let's be honest.
They did didn't they? They did that
Romanian team.
Yeah, I mean, the Eastern Europe, Bulgaria did well as well, didn't they? They both did quite well. Yeah.
With Hadji,
well, that's what Stoichkov and Lechkov.
Yeah.
Scored that.
Great headers, like my dad diving in to score a header, wasn't it? Lechkov, wasn't it? It looked like him. He looked like my dad around that time. I'm pretty sure we probably called him Lechkov at one stage outside the gas tavern. But with Hadji, it's really interesting because in 1990, Steaua Bucharest played Bournemouth in a friendly just before the 1990 World Cup, and I actually got to see Hadji play at Dean Courts. And I remember he scored this sort of goal. It's like a little drag back, and he just put it in the top corner. And And to say I got to see Hadji play at Bournemouth was something special. And from that moment, it was a player that I just sort of followed, and I really hoped he joined United at Manchester United at some stage, but obviously never did. But what a player, and that little goal he scored, the cross shot in America, and I'm pretty sure he did a little bit of a wiggle when he scored as well, Daniel. It's
a shot, right? I mean that one.
Yeah, that's it. So, but Sean, what about you? What's
Well, free to come like what you're talking about. You're talking about iconic, aren't you? Legendary. Not necessarily they've won, but two of them have. But first free to me, when I think of World Cups in my time, Zidane.
Yeah.
Obviously, obviously he had that one against where he headbutted the Materazzi lad, the Italian. Yeah. Ronaldo.
Was he
not
doing
Cristiano? That? The OG, the R9. Legend. Who's number 3? Ooh, Beckham. All right. Bit controversial, but a legend, a winner.
No.
Passionate. Game changer. Many times. Leader.
Well, the thing is with Beckham as well, and a few
Rooney.
Rooney.
I don't know, mate. You can on and on, innit?
You're going for it tonight, aren't you? But Beckham, he scored in three. Beckham scored in 3 consecutive World Cups. He scored in '98, Colombia. He scored the penalty against Argentina, and then that free kick, was it against Ecuador? Was it again in 2006?
No, wasn't it Trinidad? Was it Trinidad?
No, that was Crouch. He scored a header in that one, but or Jamaica that was. But so he scored in 3 consecutive World Cups.
Yeah, it was Ecuador, wasn't
it? And Harry Kane has just done that as well. Funny enough, and you talk about icons, and Dan, you mentioned Baggio, and Baggio again in 1990. I remember the goal he scored against Czechoslovakia when he just sort of weaved in and out, and he just had that calm finish, and it was Maradona-esque. And I remember watching that thinking, first of all, it was a live goal that I'd seen when someone's dribbled more or less from the halfway line, and I was thinking, wow, look at him, amazing, the divine ponytail, and it, just seeing like you was wearing the shirt the other night, and he just brings back memories, and he's just a sort of icon, and what a player, and the missed penalty as well. It's heartbreaking, but then it comes with the story, doesn't it? It sort of adds that mystique. Like Sean mentioned, Zidane, he's headbutted in Materazzi, got sent off, couldn't take a penalty in the shootout, but in the final he's just done a chipped penalty in the final, hasn't he? So these players are majestic. And talking about characters, today Holland are playing Sweden, and Holland v Sweden in 1974 was where we first saw the Cruyff turn. It was in World Cup 74, and that skill that I think, how many people had done a Cruyff turn? Hey,
Batesy used to do it every week, and there's an 18-yard box.
And then he'd 2-foot him, and he still wouldn't get booked or anything, would he? And get away with it. Go, hey, kidder. And,
that's it. Yeah.
But there's some. There's some. Look, we can talk when we come back to these. But what players we just spoke about there, and that's the beauty of football. And another thing that's beautiful about football is our predictions, our 5-a-side predictions. I'm not doing great. I'm bottom with 6 points. Sean's rose up to 8 points, second, and Daniel's on 11. But I just want to take Daniel's quote about the Canada game. And none of us have got anything to talk about, but I'm going to stitch you up, Dan. Don't see much happening in this game. That was more or less what you said. I see it being quite dull.
And it was 6-0.
6-0. So anyway, let's go. So we've got 5 beauties here. Sean, Spain versus Saudi Arabia. Come on, mate.
Well, Spain have got to do something, haven't they? So I think I like Saudi Arabia. The keeper had a worldie last game, but to do it twice, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be 3-0.
No, Daniel. Oh, are you still there, Daniel? Have we lost you? We may have lost.
I'm going 2-0 with this one. I think.
Spain.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Apologies. Good. Spain 2-0. I'm going.
All right.
Yeah. Good. 2-0 for Spain. They'll get off the marker up and running.
Yeah, I think 3-1 Spain. I'm going to go 3-1 Spain on this one. And Daniel, New Zealand versus Egypt. Egypt.
Yeah, to Egypt. I'm going 2-1 Egypt for this one.
Sean?
2-0 Egypt.
2-0 Egypt.
Have you lost me again?
No, you're still there. You're in and out. You're like an 80s rapper, mate. So it's all right. We're rolling with it. I'm gonna say New Zealand v Egypt. Oh, I don't know. 3-0 Egypt. 3-0 Egypt. Dan, France v Iraq. Well, we still got you.
Ooh, yeah, Positive still here. 6-0. I'm going for a big one.
Up to France, I presume. Yes.
Yeah. I don't think if Iraq wins 6-0, and I put money on that, I can retire, I imagine.
Fair enough. Sean?
4-0. 4-0 France.
4-0 France.
Mbappe brace. Maybe even hat-trick. Mbappe hat-trick.
I'm going to go 7-0. I'm going 7-0. Yeah, I'm going 7. Why not? Sean, Norway versus Senegal. How many goals is Haaland going to
get? Norway impressed me in their first game, but so did Senegal against France. I felt like they were very dangerous going forward. So, of course, tricky one. I think Senegal will edge that. I think it's going to be 3-2 Senegal.
Ooh, nice. Daniel?
Ooh, yeah. Do you know what? I fancy it a goal between. I'm going to go 2-1 Senegal. I think Senegal will win against Norway. I think they're a better team.
Well, I'm going to go Norway to win. I think Haaland is the man. I think they could be a surprise package, Norway. I think with him scoring the goals, so I'm going to go 2-0 Norway. There you go. And last one, Sean, Jordan versus Algeria.
Oh, I tell you what, it certainly gets the taste buds going, doesn't it? Jordan, Algeria. I think Algeria. I think Algeria will win that 3-1.
Nice. Daniel?
Yeah, I'm a bit in the camp of who cares, I guess. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 Algeria.
2-0 Algeria. I'm going to go 4-0 Algeria. So there's our 5-a-side predictions. We'll see how they go on. So listener, we're sort of fighting our way through to the end here. Daniel's buffering at the moment. It's good. It's keeping us on the toes, really, which is nice. And but we've had a good couple of weeks of doing these, haven't we? So Daniel, tell us, have you been enjoying these podcasts?
It's been up until now, and I mean the money I spend on BT Wi-Fi is a concern. I'll be picking that up with their customer service later.
You want to get yourself a Wi-Fi booster?
Loving it. Yeah, well, I shouldn't have to. I pay for Wi-Fi. Why am I boosting it?
Yeah, why matter, eh? Wi-Fi. Sean, how about you? You've been enjoying you're cock a hoop today, Sean, aren't you? Look at you.
I've had a great day, Fred. I've had a brilliant day in the shop. I'm just getting ready to eat me pie, nice steak and ale pie. Can't wait for that. And I'm going to go home and just, watch a bit of the World Cup and just enjoy a bit more of it. So I've had a cracking time. Can't tell you what, it's been a privilege.
Brilliant. And we'll leave there. I'm just intrigued, actually. One more thing. We can come back to this. Gary Lineker's on ITV tonight, and Gary Lineker, actually, I was thinking he's probably the most prominent football figure in my life, because in '86 was the time when I was in the playground going, I want to be that player who scored the goals last night. I didn't even know his name, and someone said it's Gary Lineker. And then me and my brothers had these Barcelona shirts with Lineker on the back, like the old fake rip-off ones from Spain. And we wore those for about 5 years, and it was a pride and joy. I hope we've got it somewhere still. And then I'm sort of thinking, so from 40 years, he's been prominent in my football journey all the way through to Match of the Day. This year, obviously, he's not been on Match of the Day. It's going to be intriguing listening to him on ITV, and I'm actually looking forward to listening to him as a pundit as opposed as a presenter, because you just forget 10 goals in a World Cup. Harry Kane has equaled that. He's a world-class striker. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And we'll come back to that next episode. So thanks for indulging me with that one, boys. But equally, thanks for giving up your Saturdays nights. Sean, enjoy your pie. Daniel, enjoy your call to BT. And until next time, listener, we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks for listening to The Lonely Goalpost. I really appreciate you spending your time with me as we share football memories and stories from the beautiful game. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to follow and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and all major podcast platforms by searching The Lonely Goalpost. And if you'd like to explore more, head over to thelonelygoalpost.co.uk for articles, memories, and updates. Until next time, listener, keep the football memories alive, and I'll see you on the next episode.